what's up, my chatterboxes? If you guys haven't done so already, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my social media at Twitter, Chat with Dree, Instagram, Chat with Dree, and Facebook, Chat with Dree. Don't forget to follow me on my social media. I really, really appreciate that. I post every time I post a video. I post it on all my social media platforms. So if you didn't get the notification, just go on my page and you'll see it. So this is my review for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 1 Episode 3 Play the Game. So it starts off with Kane, his brother. I can't even catch his brother name. They don't say it that much. So hopefully later on in the episode I catch it. So it starts off with Kane and his brother. They are going around. They're doing pickups for, their empire. Which, it doesn't really seem that realistic to me that they go on corner to corner. Everybody just freely coming to the car, passing money without, it's always somebody looking. There's always a cop on patrol. It's always something. That to me just looked too much in the opening. But, this is TV. Some shit just don't be realistic. You know what I mean? That's how you get caught out. That's how you get caught up out here. You know what I mean? With having all your stuff on Front Street. So they was basically just going around collecting their money. They put the beat down on one guy because he gonna have a nerve to just try to get on $40 goddamn dollars. Like, that's a goddamn going insult. $40, come on. So when they got back to the house, they see their sister. She was texting. Her and Tyreek was texting because last episode she hooked Tyreek up with. She took with his mom Tasha. The morning after pill, like they got that sent into the prison. So as they, sitting in the house or whatever, they noticed that a group of guys, I guess that, work underneath them in the organization, they all posting, recklessly on their social media, on their live and stuff like that. And Kane, he was going to go handle it, and she was like, no, you got to tell Ma. So as she was saying that, Monet was coming in. So Monet was like, tell me what? Y'all got 5 seconds to tell me what's going on. So when she showed her the live, she was like, oh, fuck that. We got to handle this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, Monet is about her business. I love Mary J. Character on the show. I love it. So now we see Tasha. She meeting up with her lawyer, Davis, and his investigator. So they're trying to make it seem like she killed Terry Silver, and she's telling the her lawyers that she didn't kill him. Ghost did. So the investigator was like, well, how did you know where his body was found? I mean, where his body would be. And she was like, well, I guess I know the man that I married, I guess, and they're getting a little upset because, like David said, you haven't been straight with us from the beginning. So she wants them to put her on a stand, and they're a little hesitant about it, like, because she hasn't been up front. David's going to do it, but he was like, because he's going to do it, and for the simple fact that the other people don't know as much. The other people, like the prosecutors, don't know that she has been deceptive towards her lawyers. So I guess he feel like, what can he lose? You understand what I'm saying? But Tasha is like a wild card when it comes to that, because you never know how she gonna play it on the stand. They might press her with certain stuff, and she get emotional and she blur out shit. So it's like 50-50 if I would want Tasha on that goddamn stand. But we know she ain't gonna really want to incriminate herself, because her end goal is to get home so she can, raise Tyreek. And so we'll see. Like I said, I don't know how it's gonna play out, because Sax know a lot about that organization. He also know that she's not the queen pin, but he know what buttons to push too. So it's a little tricky situation. Like, it's a slippery slope, we should say. Next, we got Tyreek. He's a little late again in class, but the reason for him being late is he did actually read the book. So him and the professor is going back and forth about Socrates, And the professor don't like the fact that Tyreek has challenged him, but Tyreek made perfect sense. And the professor kind of, like, from what I'm getting from the scene, the professor knew he made perfect sense. But, he's so stuck in his, way of thinking, like he said, oh, people been arguing Socrates for thousands of years, and you're gonna go against that. He was like, yeah, because I don't believe that he was virtuous. Virtuous is in the eye of the beholder, and I don't believe that he's good. He was like, Socrates was arrogant. He and some people think that they status put them at a higher position over people, and that's BS. So the professor really didn't like it. He didn't like it, and the other professor was looking in the doorway smiling because he knew that Tyreek made a good point. He really, really did. So when they dismissed the class, Tyreek was a little pissed off. He was like, he gonna end up trying to fail me because I, disagree with what he got saying, what he got to say. And Lauren basically was telling him, like, you need to learn how to play the game. He was like, it don't matter if you right. He was like, she said, it don't matter if you right. It does, you just got to play the game, and you can't try to make the fool of the professor. But if that class is supposed to spark, intellectual conversations and, open up a room for debate and things like that, you shouldn't have to agree with everything that the professor say, because everything that you read can be based on how one interprets the information. So I might not look at things the same way as you, and vice versa. We should be able to have a healthy dialogue, which Tyreek was trying to have with him, but he kind of, he made a lot of sense, which challenged him. Because, like some people, when you think you're the smartest person in the room, and then you get this little person that you think should not be at a level of intelligence, and he challenged you, how dare you? That's what I got from that. So Lauren was telling him, like, listen, you're going to have to learn how to play the game just to, basically get what you need to get and get out. She was like, I had a brother like, do you always want to be right? She was like, my brother always wanted to be right, and it sent him to, rehab. You know what I mean? So Tyreek was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. She was like, no, it's okay. Listen, everybody ain't the same. And if you want me to be in this class, you're going to have to accept what I'm bringing to the class. If not, then maybe the class ain't going to be for me. That's how I would feel about with Tyreek. So now we see Tasha. She finally gives the other inmate, Layla, the morning after pill. So we see the female guard looking at, them talking, because, Layla was all up in the female guard face, like, getting all up in her face and everything when she was asking her to get her that morning after pill. So, I guess, I ain't saying she's scared of her, but she ain't fucking with her, you know what I'm saying? But she was trying to mess with Tasha. So she ain't really liking what she see. And then we see the guy, I guess he do like work around and the jail and everything, but he's actually taking pictures, spying on Tasha. I guess somebody got, the lookout, having him have lookout on Tasha, and I'm pretty sure it's Monet's husband. You know what I mean? I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So Tasha was, asking her. She was like, you want to be my friend? You my friend? She was like, well, why would you want to make a friend in here? This is just a bus stop. So Tasha basically was telling her, like, I see how you move. It seemed like you know how to maneuver in here, and I like that. She was like, well, from the looks of it, it looked like you know how to move around in here too. So Tasha ended up leaving because she seen that the female guard that was always busting her chop was, trying to get closer to see what they was talking about. So this is going to be interesting how this play out with the dynamic inside the prison. So I told y'all we knew Leandro was going to be the one who sent the guy to take the pictures to see what's going on, because he's the one who actually put the book underneath Tasha's pillow. So first of all, this mofo, before we even get to the guy coming back with the information, this mofo, he up there really calling goddamn on shots. And he up there playing, I don't know if they was playing cards, dominoes, whatever they was playing, with the goddamn on COs in there, everything. He is really running shit up in there. So the guy come in there with the information, and he was telling him how she didn't take it, so she not actually, screwing the CO. So as he was giving him the information, he was drinking a goddamn Corona up in there too. I'm like, yo, I mean, I know people with status can get what they want in there, but that just show how much clout he had on the street, because he definitely running shit inside the jail. So he excused the other guy, from out the cell, because he was like, he got to take this call. So it was Monet. So he was like, well, we didn't have no scheduled meeting. What's going on? So she was ranting about what she found out on social media about Little Guwap and them. So he is apprehensive to make a move on Lil Guwap and them, because he said Lil Guwap dad took a bullet for him. But Monet ain't trying to hear that shit. She want to send Kane. But the dad was like, no, send Drew over there, because Drew is a little bit more mild-tempered than Kane. Kane is a gun. He's a killer. He like Tommy. And Drew more soft and subtle like Ghost. But don't get it twisted. Ghost is still a murk somebody. But it take a little longer for him to get there versus how Kane would just go there off the rip. So now Monet got to get a word to the kids, which they all in the kitchen. And when they find out that Drew is the one who's going to have to go and talk to Guwap and them, they was like, Drew? Like, what? So Drew was like, they not going to listen to me. So Kane was like, y'all need to let me go around there, put the pressure on him. So she was like, listen, this is how your dad wanted, this is how it's going to go. So I guess they going to go along with the get along. So when Drew and Diana, they leave out the kitchen, Monet tells Kane that she wants him to keep an eye on Drew, make sure everything goes well, but don't let him see him. You know what I mean? So she already know Drew soft. She already know. Anyway, now we see Tariq. He's back. He in school. And Zeke going to drop the ball on him, talking about that he need his paper done. I think the day after tomorrow or something like that. He was like, well, I got a paper due the same day. How am I going to write, 2 papers? I ain't got time for that. So Zeke somehow, I forgot I was busy. Zeke, let me tell you something. If somebody doing your work, you need to at least, when you get your assignment, give the assignment to him. Don't do that. You can't be waiting last minute to get somebody's shit when you ain't fucking writing it. And you talking about you ain't got time to write it because you got shit to do. So the hell do he got shit to do too. Meaning his own goddamn work, okay? So he was like, well, I got you. He was like, yeah, well, I want you to get me now. He was like, I want you to hook me up with Monet. He was like, why? He was like, because I want to ask Monet, is it okay to date Diana? He was like, Diana, Monet don't let Diana date. He was like, and since the dinner, she want me to keep my school life separate from my family life. He was like, well, that means me. So now Tyreek gonna have to try to figure out another angle to get in. So we see Tasha, the guard, she's pulling Tasha out the jail, and Tasha don't have a clue as to what's going on. So first I thought it was some shiesty business going on, I thought the guard was trying to have Tasha roughed up, but no, it really was the lawyers pulling her because for this mock trial. So they have the glam squad there. They put a cute little wig on, a nice little pantsuit on her. And when she go into the courtroom, she see Davis. So she like, what the fuck is going on? So Davis basically tell her, like, listen, this is a mock trial. You want us to put you on a trial. I need to see how you gonna go about doing it. And you paying these jurors by the hour. So she was like, it's a waste of my time and my goddamn money. She was like, I know how to sell a jury that I ain't no queen pin. He was like, well, you gonna have to prove that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is. So now we see Tyreek and Bray, and they at the pediatrician. First of all, y'all in college. Why the fuck is y'all at a pediatrician? You would not. Like I said, some shit just don't make sense. Anyway, so he had got like a physical done, and he stole scripts. So Tyreek basically going to have him pushing pills and stuff on a campus. So Brayden is going to go and bust the strips. He going to write the scripts out and then bust them, so they can start their little drug business on campus. And he goes talk about, do you know how to write them up? You know how to hook them up? Brandon was like, yeah, my sister been on Addie, since she was 12. I got this shit memorized. I'm like, oh my God, the privilege. They all be on Adderall and shit, all getting all fucked up at a young age. I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, now we see Miss Tasha on that stand. I must say, she gave a hell of a goddamn performance on that goddamn stand. So they went into, how she asked Tommy to kill Ghost, and she was like, well, that's the only person she trusted that could carry that out. She, was saying how she was scared of him, how he, made her do all the things that she did. And she went to y'all remember the store, the scene, I guess that was season 1, when it did like a flashback when she hid the gun when the cops pulled them over, and that's what made Ghost want to be with her. But she flipped it and said she was 7 months pregnant with Raina and Tyreek. And he asked her, that's what she said, but I don't remember him asking her. But y'all can comment there below if I might got that scene wrong. But I think that she actually did it on her own, and that's what made him like, oh, this girl down for me. But I can't really remember. So she was saying like she had no choice. She was like she had no choice at none of it. She was like she was 19. She was he whisked, she got married to him. He whisked her away, and this condo or this high rise in Tribeca, and she was like, they had a good life together, but he ran the show. Everything that he wanted her to do, she had to do, because he was the power, and that's what Davis was trying to hone in with the jury. And the jury seemed like they was buying that shit, and Tasha knew she sold them, because after that she looked like, okay, I got y'all motherfuckers now. Like, she even was getting the Davis investigator, she even kind of had her thinking she was telling the truth. And y'all know Tasha full of shit, because she admitted on stand, but like, this is a mock jury or whatever, but she admitted that she knew about his drug trafficking and things like that. But like, she played it all saying that she couldn't do anything about it because he called all the shots. So moving on from Tasha messy ass, now we got Monet and Diana. Apparently Diana can actually play ball, and so she asking Monet, like, how is it okay for Zeke to play ball but I can't? She was like, well, first of all, he's not my son, and second of all, you my daughter, and it is not beneficial to the family. She was like, female players only make what, like $75,000 a year. She was like, that ain't helping us. So Diana, she like pissed off. She was like, well, it ain't about the family, it's about me. She was like, and dad want the boys to take over anyway. She was like, listen, Monet said everybody in this family got a position to play, and it's up to me to put everybody in their position. So I'm like, okay, so she like the chess player, you know what I mean? Like, Diana ain't trying to hear that shit, and she was telling, Monet was not trying to hear that shit, and she was saying, Drew can't handle those, I forgot what the name of the crew was. She was like, I know. She was like, that's why I told Kane to watch, watch out for that. She was like, and so then they got into it with Tyreek. She was like, listen, Tyreek, she did some digging on him, and everybody around him end up, in jail, or something happened to them. She was like, so I want Zeke to continue to get the help with his schoolwork, but I don't want him nowhere near the family, because she made that Zeke even brought his ass around, because now she dug into him, and he ain't passing the wash test, the smell test. So we'll see how this go. Monet on Tyreek ass. So now Monet and Diana, they're walking into the arena to watch Zeke. Well, no, let's back it up. So Zeke is in the locker room, so he's not able to like suit up with the team, so he gotta have like his little suit on, because I guess he gonna play the bench. So he's a smart aleck, rich student, and he basically busting Zeke's chops about not being able to play, and basically like how Zeke need the scouts there because he actually needs to be drafted and all of those bullshit. You know how they do, the little silver spoon, what you call. So Zeke was like, I'm gonna be back playing, as soon as before you even know it. So he was like, well, how do you know you want to be back on the court so soon? But everybody don't know that they got Tyreek, doing his schooling and everything for him. So the coach, he came in there, broke all that shit up or whatever like that. He was telling Zeke, he was like, you could talk to the reporters after the game, because Zeke wanted to know if he could like suit up with them and do practice. He was like, no, that's against the rules, but you can talk to the reporters after the game or whatever. And he was like, it's better to come from you than, I guess it was supposed to be like the owner, like the I forgot who was supposed to do the speech, but Zeke, you could tell he like froze when he said that. He was like, I don't know what to say. What am I going to say? Because he must not be articulate, or you know what I mean. He's just a sports player. Like, he ain't smart. I don't even know how he get to fucking college. I guess people was doing his work all through high school. I don't know, because you could tell like he don't even know. He don't even know what to say. He don't even know. He was like, listen, he was like, part of sports is being able to handle the reporters too. You got to know how to work the room. So hopefully Zeke don't get up there and make a fucking a mockery of himself. Now we see Monet and Diana, they going into the sports arena because they thought that Zeke was going to be playing or whatever, because they thought that his grades came up enough. But when the coach seen Monet, he had pulled her to the side, and as they're talking, Tyreek and Diana talking. So Diana was telling him, don't really pay my mom too much mind. She's upset. She was telling him everything that was going on for us with Drew and, the crew and all that. And then Tyreek, he was saying, he was giving like little advice how she can handle her mom and everything like that. But Diana ain't really trying to hear that shit. And you see Monet cutting her eyes over there as she's seeing Tyreek and Diana talking, but she also talking to the coach. So she probably gonna get on Diana's case about that too, because like she said, she don't want Tyreek nowhere around, because as he was trying to talk to them, she was giving him the cold shoulder. He wanted to sit next to him. She was like, no, just two of us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, she wasn't feeling it. Tyreek ain't gonna be able to win her over just that quick. I'm not sure who this Scott person is, but Tyreek got Epiphany to go into his room and keep him distracted while, he make a move. So Epiphany in there with this fucking platinum blonde looking stupid ass wig. I'm like, oh my goodness, she look a hot ass mess. Okay, so Drew goes and go to talk to Guwap or whatever the hell his name is about, the stuff that they've been doing on social media. Guwap, he in there snorting. They, having a good old time partying and stuff like that. So first he was giving Drew a little hard time, talking about, because Drew was saying that he wasn't going to be there long, and he was like, I'm trying to extend my hospitality. Well, the girlfriend said hospitality. He was like, yeah, my hospitality. He was like, no. He was like, mom wanted to tell me mom wanted me to tell y'all that y'all killing it or whatever. So he was like, really? He was like, see, your pops, we were cool, but I didn't know if Monet really, was feeling me. So we already know Monet ain't feeling them. Because when he started talking about the social media stuff, she was like, yeah, that thing. She wants you to kind of cool out on that, because it's not a good look. She thinking you're going to invite the law in. So stuff already started going left. So Drew and Guwak, they were about to have like a heated exchange, and Drew was pulling for his gun, and then that's when Kane had came in, and they looked shook when they seen Kane. Kane do put some fear in these niggas' hearts. I'm telling y'all, because they look shook. So anyway, Kane was like, we got a problem. And it was like, no. So Drew ended up stepping. Well, Kane told Drew to leave out. Drew ended up stepping off. Next thing you know, Kane, he started shooting up the goddamn place, like in the air. Everybody ducking, running for cover and stuff like that. I'm like, nobody else got a gun on them. Kane and Drew the only one got a fucking gun, because he was the only one busting, even though he didn't aim it at nobody. But like, normally when somebody starts shooting, people that's packing start shooting back. I mean, that's how shit go. So anyway, when they was leaving, when they came met Drew outside, he was like, well, why you gotta do that for? Well, mom told me to look at follow you or whatever like that. So as they about to walk to the car, and then you see the cops saying freeze, so they start taking off, because they both got guns. And then the Spanish cop, I forgot the one that Monet fucking, he peeped that it was Kane and them, and he was like, oh shit. So listen, shit about I like the Tejada family. I love them. Child, Kane was about to kill that goddamn cop. He was this close to killing that cop until the Spanish guy was like, they went this way. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's about to get a fucking cop body on him. So the cop that Monet fucking, he told her, like, listen, if they would have got their charge, it's certain stuff that I won't be able to like get off they jacket, like they won't have to eat that. And she was like, I know. And he was because he was like, if I didn't get the call. So she was like, well, why would you get the call? Because of the stuff that they posted on social media. He was like, they got patrol cars patrolling the neighborhood because of the things that they are posting. He was like, and then we heard gunshots, so that's why they pulled up when they pulled up. He was trying to tell her, like, listen, y'all need to stop messing with these kids, because sooner or later somebody gonna get jacked by the cops, and they gonna start talking. She was like, I can't do that, and start kissing them and stuff like that. And next thing you know, he's taking off his coat because he about to get ready to get in some yams. And she get a call from Lorenzo, her husband, saying he want her to come see him in the morning. And she look like she over Lorenzo ass, but I guess, like she said, she need him for the clout, the power, and that's what he can provide. That's all he can provide, because nothing else she can get from him. So now we see Tariq. He's in the dorm, and apparently he had Epiphany hold Scott there because I guess he's another drug dealer, and he would. So when Brayton was at the party, Scott wasn't there, and he was able to make all the money. But Tariq was telling Brayton that he need more money because that's not enough money for his mom. So Brayton was like, say no more, I'm on it. Brayton seemed like he, a good friend to Tariq, but we'll see. So now we have day 2 of the mock trial, and they bring in Tamika. Oh my goodness. First of all, Tasha was all gloating at first, thinking she did such a good job on the stand the first day. And she was like, I don't need this. They was like, no, we got to, Tamika, know the case. Because she was like, well, why is she here? Because I fired her. She was like, listen, she here is, Davis was like, she here as a favor to me. She know the case, and she's the closest we're going to get to Sex. Because, Sex is going to be the one who cross-examined Tasha on the stand. When I tell you, first of all, Tasha and Tamika look like they got the same goddamn wig on, okay? And Tamika did make mention she of like the fancy clothes and the hair and all that old bullshit. So I'm not gonna go into everything. Y'all gotta watch the show. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. She ate Tasha the fuck up on that goddamn stand, and she made Tasha She poked so many holes in Tasha's story, it didn't even make no sense. Shit, I knew Tasha wasn't the criminal mastermind behind it, but she had me thinking that she was, the way convincing she was with that got there on cross-examination on Tasha. When we find out, because when Tasha was talking to the investigator, she was like, I'm not guilty of this. I'm not the queen pin. I'm not guilty. She was like, well, listen, you better start telling us. It was Paula. Paula was like, you better start telling us the truth. She was like, or else this orange jumpsuit is going to be the last thing you ever wear. Listen, Tasha, you better change your game plan, because they ain't playing with you. They ain't playing. So Davis, he's talking to Tamika, and Paula's there as well. He wants Tamika to be on their team. He was like, listen, we can be a whole black dream team. Tamika don't want shit to do with the case. She didn't realize that they found out that she was going to be Sack's attorney. So she was like, well, how did y'all find that out? So Paula had seen, I guess they had to file with the court, and Paula said, she the investigator, so she found that little tidbit. So she was like, well, nice try. It's still not enough. It's privilege, like attorney-client privilege. So Davis know enough that it's something there with sex, because he said, Paula don't want to proceed with the case. He was like, it's not about Tasha. This case is about sex. So he know if he can bring sex down, that's like a career changing, case or whatever like that. But like Tamika was saying, sex was with the U.S. Attorney Office way before him. Way before her. He know a lot about the case, and I guess he a good trial lawyer as well. So they going up against some, stiff competition. But Davis ain't backing away from the fight. And Paula over it. She over it because she was like, Tasha is not going to win. She's going to go to jail. But I'm not so sure. So Monet up at the jail screwing her husband. She asking him if he need anything up there. Trying to have a little small talk. And he was like, no, I don't need nothing. So basically, he mad at her because he was like, she disobeyed him. She was like, listen, I'm not one of the kids. I'm running shit. Like, while you in here, I'm out here holding shit down. And he was like, he got a problem with the way she running stuff. So he wants Drew to be, I guess, take control over the business. And she telling him that Drew is not ready for that. Kane would be the best, bet. And he was like, no, because Kane too much of a hothead. And apparently she stuck, like attached to Diana, and the dad don't like that. He want Diana to go to school because Monet, she kind of against her like venturing out. He was like, listen, that's the way it gotta be. He was like, things wasn't supposed to be the way that they is. I wasn't never supposed to leave you the way I left you. He was like, and you're not going to be, able to run this forever. He was like, so I need you to follow the plan so things can run smooth. She not trying to hear that, but I see what he's saying. Like, he trying to get the kids in position where they can take over, but Monet got her own plans for who she want to run stuff and how she wanted to run. And I will say this. Kane is a gun. He's a G, but I could see Kane getting laid out in the street. He just too much of a hot heat. So Tyreek is in the class with Lauren, and she got an A. Tyreek got an incomplete, and he pissed off. So the professor comes in and he was like, well, why did you fail me? He was like, I didn't fail you. He was like, do you think a professor of my stature will be great in papers? That's beneath me. You better talk to Professor Simmons. So Tyreek go barge in there and was asked Professor Simmons, why did he, fail him? He was like, because you didn't put he was like, you didn't speak from the argument that you presented in class. He was like, you kind of folded to what the I forgot what the other professor wanted you to say. He was like, and these kind of institutions aren't meant for us. We aren't meant that, they just accept, allow us to come. It wasn't built for us. He was like, so he don't want Tyreek to conform to what they want him to do. He want him to stand out and speak his truth and, stand on it. And he said the grades stand, but I guess now Tyreek understand that it's okay to be himself. It's okay to challenge the status quo. And you might can affect change that way than trying to go along with the get along. Monet go barging in there on the kids because I guess she pissed off, from the meeting that she had with her husband. So she was saying how they fucked up, and she not gonna keep asking Ramirez to clean her shit up. And then you see the look that Kane gave her because Kane had already seen Ramirez creep into the house, so he already know they screwing. You understand what I'm saying? So then she was asking who pulled the burner first. And Kane was like, I had to do it because I followed your word. And Drew, he wasn't built for it. Yes, I was. I just wanted to give it an open because he was so coked up. So they was going back and forth. Drew ain't built for that. He not. He really, because if y'all really looked at his interaction with Tyreek, he really liked Tyreek. He was asking Tyreek about school and stuff like that. So he ain't built for that street life and stopped trying to make him. So they end up leaving. The boys end up leaving. So she was like, Monet was saying to Diana, was like, did you call your father and tell him that you want to go to school? She was like, no. She was like, go get the family burner, which is the phone. So when she looked in the call log, it wasn't nothing there. So Diana was like, well, what did daddy say? So Monet was saying to her, she was like, oh, you think you so smart. I was coming before you was going, or some shit she said, like some fly shit she said like that, and she stormed off. She said, this is my house. My house. Don't you understand that it's my house? I'm like, oh, okay. She ain't trying to hear that, but I don't understand why she don't want her daughter to go to school. Like, you should want somebody that had the brains. You ain't gonna always be there. So Tyreek pissed off at Zeke because Zeke's sitting up there chilling and Zeke acting like he got so much going on. Tyreek was like, listen, you going to have to start doing some of your own work. So he wanted a favor from Zeke, and we don't know what the favor is, but it has something to do with Monet. And it's starting to get a little bit weird that you keep asking about Monet. Like, I would be like, even the dumbest person can pick up on you got an angle. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, gosh. So now we see Professor Simmons. He in his office with his graduate student. And she all flirting with him, talking about how she read the first book. I guess it was Raw. And how, she wished somebody could write something like that about her. And all of those stuff. So she was coming on to him. At first he was resisting it. But he gave in. And as he was, nailing her ass to the cross, the other professor, I forgot her name, the one that's all hooked up on Tyreek, she was listening to it, and I guess she couldn't take it no more, so she ended up leaving out. Because, she considered him her person, but now it's about, I guess that's going to probably spiral her out to do some weird shit. Who knows? So Monet not runs up on her like she fighting her or whatever like that, but she, come at her daughter Diana because she know Diana had to have a secret phone to contact the dad. So she ended up finding it, and she, threw it on the ground, stomped it out. And Monet was like, how did you know? She was like, this is my house. If you gonna be in here, you gotta go by my rules. She was like, because she said she figured it out. It wasn't hard to figure out that she had access to call on her dad. Like, it ain't take a fucking rocket science to figure that shit out. Okay, so now we know why Tyreek wanted Zeke to get Monet there. So Zeke lied to get Monet to the campus or whatever, because he had messed up that press conference or whatever, and saying that he would be back on the court. Knowing goddamn well he don't know when the hell he gonna get back on that day on court. So Monet was like, well, why would you lie and tell me that Tyreek wasn't here? He was like, well, I had to get you here. So basically Tyreek is propositioning Monet. He wants her to be his supplier, and he running shit up in the school. First of all, she was hesitant to the situation. He showed her the money. Was like, I made this in just a few hours. He was like, and if I could do that, then just imagine if I had a supplier, what can I do? She was like, I don't know you. How can I trust you? He was like, well, you trust me with Zeke grade. She was like, well, that's different. He was like, well, basically, he was like, listen, if you want, basically what Tyreek said to her in a nutshell, if you want me to not fail Zeke, you gonna have to play ball. So she agreed to play ball with Tyreek, but she got her eye on him. He ain't gonna really be able to outsmart her because she from the streets, okay? Tariq think he from the streets. He's smart and all that, but you still ain't street. You understand? So she agreed to it. So as they're talking, Tasha calling, she was like, well, I know that's your mother. She was like, you better answer that because I know how I'll get if my kids don't answer my call. So she was like, I'll be in touch. So he talking to Tasha, and Tasha was saying how she was in trouble. And Tariq was like, don't worry about it. I got a plan. I handle it. So as, they're talking, you hear Monet and her husband on the phone talking. He was like, well, how can we trust this kid Tariq? And she was like, we can't. He was like, but she said, she can handle them, and I guess they gonna make it do what it do. Tariq about to get that shit popping up in school, cause the rule is too, she don't want Zeke nowhere near that drug shit. So Tariq gonna have to go and stay with Brayden, and Brayden, his fucking room is lit. His dad stayed there. They got a secret stash with the liquor and all that shit there. So Leandro called Tariq. I mean, not Tariq. He called Tasha and told her, listen, your son is about to start working for us. And she like, who is? He was like, listen, if he doesn't do what we say do, he dies. So Tasha is livid. That's all I got for this episode of Power Book 2 Ghosts. If you guys like the content, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to holler at your girl.